Hello everybody and welcome welcome back to the Gaming Geezer 1965. This time I want to show you something completely different. This video will also be released on a day that I usually don't release a video. And why? Because I want to tell you and break this news, and I want you to know it right away, instead of that I have to plan this video where I left uploading for my schedule, because that's like a few months in advance. So I ordered myself the Commodore 64 Ultimate, the Starlight edition, which is a clear see-through. It is not emulation like the C64, but it's FPGA. And I bought myself a nice new joystick, also with a clear see-through body on it. But this new C64 is also accepting original joysticks and other devices, like the floppy drive that I got from my 64. So I can use my old hardware if it still works and if the floppies are still readable. But I wanted to brush up my basic skills from the past, but I've lost a lot along the way because, yeah, of course the first, like from the release of the Commodore 64 as in and 12 years later, between that time I was programming and mostly playing games, of course. But I wanted to see if I can brush up my basic skills a bit. And so, to prepare for the coming for it, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to install an emulator? I will show it to you, VICE C64. I saw a YouTube video of somebody who used ChatGPT to write a basic program. And I will show you a bit of the history and as a demonstration what you get when the product is finished, how it works. And in this case, because you know this a real basic program with a lot of possibilities, that's quite some typing that you got to do, and that will take a lot of time. And this is where ChatGPT comes in handy. I've got a paid subscription on it, so I don't get the notification that I need to use a cheaper model. It will continuously going. But even with the free version of ChatGPT, you can do this. I wrote it in my own language, so sorry for that. But I will read the most important stuff. And it started with, let me start with the same question that the guy in the YouTube video asked on you. Can you write a game wherein the user has to guess a number between 1 and 10? Make sure that if the user has guessed the number, that the game tells me how many turns he needed to guess the number before the game starts. Oh, I mean, that was the final numbers, like he needs to know how many turns it took before he guessed the number. And a new instruction for ChatGPT was, before the game starts, I want you to clear the screen. So ChatGPT writes a program. I will show you how it works. So I am copying this by just clicking on copy code. Then you go to VICE 64 and there on top you have file, edit, snapshot, preferences and help. First, when I start this program up, I go to preferences, and usually it starts up like this with the status bar. So what I'm always doing is hide the bar and then enlarge the screen, so I can on the bottom sort between ChatGPT and VICE 64. Then you go to edit, paste. So as you can see, we got the patch keys instead of the programming. So I said new enter. So now the memory of the Commodore 64 is empty again. I go back to ChatGPT and I showed him the screenshot what happened with the pictures. So I said, I can't do nothing with your program. It makes Chinese of this. And he says, I recognize this. This is the PETSCII versus ASCII numbers. The 64 is talking into its own designer set. So he makes the same, but that didn't work. So I told him, no, you must put all the text in your program in small letters, no capital letters please. So I get this program. So let me go to this program, that's the full program for the number guessing game, copy. Let's go to VICE 64, paste. As you can see, the program is now in VICE 64 and I will say run. Well, as you can see, it works. Now it says in Dutch, guess a number between 1 and 10. So I will always start in the middle, 5. It's too high, guess a number. It's too high, so maybe 2 or 3. Let's get 3. It's still too high, 2. It's good and it took you 3 turns. You can of course say, because the program is ready, I can say new, and I also can say, and this is what I always do, I go to reset and then power cycle machine, and the quick key to that is Alt F12. So I will press Alt and F12. Now the Commodore 64 reboots and you know for sure it's empty, clear, and I have a nice clear screen to work with it. Let's go here, and so it worked. So I told him this works. Now I want to add something to it. I want that if you guessed the number right and you see how many times you did it, that the Commodore waits until you strike a certain key, doesn't matter what key, and that the program will reboot again. So you get the same program, except for instead of after you guess the number it says ready, no, it will just go back to the start and it will ask you again to guess for a new number. So he's making a new program for me. I had a problem stopping the game and I didn't know how to stop the game. So I said, can you now make sure that every time I guess the number and the number is wrong, that the screen will be cleared, and with the next guess that you can also see what turn it is. So print T at the question, guess a number between 1 to 10. So he's going to do this. He gives me the program. He says what I'm getting. And so I tried this program out. I will not do it every time because otherwise the video will get too long, because there's a much more interesting game that I start after this one is finished. So the time that the counter stays in screen is too short, because it says not even a second, it flashes, this is turn 2, flash, this is turn 3. So that didn't work. So I said to him, I want you to show this number for 1.5 seconds. So he does this and he gives me a small part. So I said, show me because I don't want to copy and paste in between and overwrite numbers and all that, and to make sure you do not get a problem because the go-to routine doesn't work anymore. I say to ChatGPT, no, I want you to show me the full program so I can copy paste it in VICE. So I get the full program and I will show him a screenshot. Let me see. So the game was finished. It worked. And I said, I gave him a compliment that it worked and that it is done. Let me see if I went into the new... Yes, here we start. Now it's going to be interesting. Why? Because I'm starting with a concept. You all know the game Snake. That was on the Nokia phone. You have to eat dots, and every time you eat a dot that was representing food, your snake grew one icon longer. And the thing is, you need to eat food, get a longer snake, don't touch the side of the screen, and don't touch your own body. So you need to keep doing this for all this time. So I will tell you the instructions that I gave to him. So I start with, the screen must be cleared before the game starts. And then I want a short snake of 4 characters. Make the body from the star, like an X or something like that. And random on screen, there's got to be another star, and that appears as food. When the snake eats this, add this star to his body. So now you've got 5 of these signs. And now the user must keep feeding the snake and taking control of it without bumping into its own body. If this happens, I want to see on a clear screen the results. And that result needs to be the amount of food that he ate before you crashed. And before I forget, the snake must move by itself slowly and then needs to be controlled by the keys A for left, S for down, D for right and W for up. So he says, yes, okay, that works in basic version 2, and he's writing a program. And let me see what I said, if it worked or not. He also gives us some explanation and bug fixes, what you could do. So he says, erasing the tail works properly. If you want, I will really finish it. So I said to him, because I tried it and I got a problem, because the Commodore 64, when you have a row number, for instance row number 10, in total you get 40 characters per line, and one number can only contain 2 lines. So in other words, including the number, 80 characters. And yes, a space is also a character. So he was exceeding this in the RAM statement. So every time you get an error. So I told ChatGPT, I want you to remove all the RAM statements. And also, I give him this information. The Commodore 64 has a limit of 2 rules. In other words, 80 signs. So everything you put more results in an error. So he throws away all the RAM statements and he's making sure that the complete line is not longer than 80 characters long. I get a new program from him. So I said to him, can you speed up the snake? It worked. So what I want to do is, I want to show you the very first version. The rest I will tell you by talking, and I will show you the finished version. So let me copy this code. Let's go to VICE 64, edit, paste. And as you can see, if you would have typed this in yourself, especially if you're not so fast in typing blind, well, I can type blind pretty fast, but all these special characters, numbers and and all that, an is and a star, whatever, that takes longer because on a Commodore 64 it has all the passkey numbers and all the special signs in a different position than it is on my laptop. So it's very difficult to do this. So this is why I let ChatGPT do the programming, and I'll just copy and paste and type in run. Run the program. And then you can go, it takes some time before the snake arrives. Okay, we need to go up. It takes ages for the snake to respond, because as you can see, it's moving as slow as a snail instead of a snake. Well, I will let him eat this and then collide with the wall. I wonder if there's already a food counter in there, because if my memory serves me well, it should have been. I could have tried to steer it over there, but it takes way too long. Crash. Game over. You ate one piece of food. Press a key for again. Let me see if a reboot starts. Oh, we have even an error, but I didn't notice that the last time because I just went to him and said, well, the snake is too slow. I didn't even want to play on. So this test, I never knew that there was an error. So let's do Alt F12 and go back to ChatGPT. So I said to him, can you speed up the snake? And he's making separate additions again. So I gave him an idea. Before the game starts, give the start menu a choice between 1, the fastest version, and 10, slow, as it went in your first example. After the choice, the screen needs to be cleared and the snake can start eating. So he repeats in short what I'm saying, what I want to add, and then he starts making the code. So I respond, brilliant, it works. Now I want on the start screen that you can enter your name, and when you've got a game over, that you see your name with your score. And we also, in a different conversation, we're talking about a high score table of 10 scores that, as long as the game is in RAM, is being kept in memory. I also want to add this. I also want the border and the background being black and the snake and the text must be yellow. Can you add this and then show me the complete program? Of course, he's very enthusiastic and gives me the code. And let me see in my response if the code worked. This version doesn't work. After input the name and then choosing the speed, the game clears the screen very slowly, row by row. It draws the snake and one piece of food, and then it doesn't seem to respond to anything until I suddenly get a game over screen with the direction keys that I tried to press to control the snake. So he's checking everything and gives me a new code, complete in a full program without me having to ask to do this. So, as you can see, during communication with him, he remembers my preference. And my preference is always, if you change or add something to the code, give me the full rewritten code and not just the part that you've changed. So, we go down, and as you can see, the list is quite long now. So I said to him, the first time that I play the game, it works. My name was being put in the Hall of Fame, but when you enter a new name and you choose the speed and the game starts, after drawing the snake, even before it moves, you get immediately a game over screen with the score of the previous turn. While the snake in the second attempt didn't even eat one food. So in my test I ate one food, I let the snake crash. So my first score was 1. And then the second turn went and I didn't even get to control the snake. I get After he draws the snake, I get an immediate game over, back to the main screen, and with the new name that I put in, but with the old score. So if I started with my own name and then the second name is a made up name, it would still say he ate one food, and I didn't even move the snake because it crashed. So he knows the problem now, he is checking his program and gives me the new version. So I said, the Hall of Fame works excellent. I did 4 turns with different scores, but with the last with the last part, I got a collision while there was nothing in my way. The other playthroughs seemed to go normal that I did before this. Can you check the code? So he's checking the code, he's making additions to it. Well, we get the same problem again, so let's go on, because I want to make another problem. So he asked me suddenly, how do you take control of the snake? Or you start controlling him before he was drawn, things like that. And then I said no, because I know that the Commodore 64 has, when you hold a key, it gets a key repeat. So when I press 1 on the D and I keep holding it, the Commodore 64 sees not only 1 D, it sees a repetition of Ds until you release. And that means the snake keeps on going to the right and it will not turn before he does, for instance, 20 times to the right. So I knew this, and when ChatGPT understood what I meant, and then I just press the key when I want the snake to change direction, he is adapting the code again. But he was thinking that because the problem was the game kept crashing, I know that only the front of the snake, so the direction the snake is going, that part can eat the food. So the rest of the snake doesn't go over the food. And he thought that if you take a turn, for instance, from right to down, if the food is down left, that the body would curl over the food. But it isn't the case. It works like the real game, that if you turn, the rest of the body is still moving to the right until the final digit is actually going in the same direction. So that already worked good. But somehow ChatGPT meant, yes, on screen you see it properly, but the basic code says the body is going over it. Well, I don't have an idea how that works, so I had a few problems with the same thing. And then I said to him, because he said to me, the problem is the snake is a star, but food is also a star, and the code can't make a separation between 2 of the same character sets. So I said to ChatGPT, turn the food into just a plus sign. So now he says, okay, I'm going to add a plus sign and it will solve the problem. And he's giving me, again, short, he still forgets, because he still gives me a few changes. And then I said to him, of course, then show me the full program with this adaptation. There we go. And while I was testing, I almost wanted to stop because it seemed to work. And then suddenly, after eating 13 food, it still collides with something that was empty. So he's going to fix it again. As I can see, I'm not so far away, so I will go down after this. But I will tell you what I also let him interpret into the game. But that's also somewhere in that conversation. I'm not going to search for this, but I can tell you what happened. The longer the snake gets, the slower the game became, because I'm programming in BASIC and the Commodore needs to move the complete snake, even if it's like more than the screen wide of characters, in the direction you want. And BASIC is not so fast compared to machine language. So I said to him, the game is too slow, it's way too easy, and on some parts too hard, because the slower the game gets, the more time it takes before your key press is registered and the snake actually starts moving in a new direction. So he makes a complete change of the code, because the 4 next loops didn't work. So he, instead of go to, with the new code, he starts to use the go sub version of sending the program to different parts of the listing. And that solved the problem. The snake was much faster in BASIC. And then I will just go to the end. Let me see, was this the final code? Yes, this was the final code. So I will copy the code. Before I will paste it in, or I can paste it in there already. But before I run it, there was we came to a point that the code worked flawlessly. No more errors, you could just play until the game was ending. And we had a nice Hall of Fame. And then I came with the idea, I want to have a separation between first place, that is gold, second place will be silver, and then the third place will be bronze, and the rest will be also yellow, like gold of course, but that was just the main color that I chose for everything that the game does. So I didn't want to try and go for a different color for the rest of the names. So this is the end result of, I think it all took 45 minutes or something, 30 to 45 minutes before we came to this version. Run. As you can see, I said to him, okay, the code works. I want you to now make the start screen in a way that a new player can see what keys he needs to press to take control of the snake. So A is left, S is down, D is right, and W is up. So I put my fingers in position. I put my name in. You can just use a capital letter. I put my fingers in position. It takes some time before the screen builds up. And since it was too easy, I also put a cross that was made by circles to make it represent walls. And as you can see, instead of and the background black and the edge is now dark gray. I did this because I was bumping into the wall because I couldn't see where the wall was starting. And then I thought, hey, that's my own mistake, because I said to ChatGPT, make the background black and make the edge black. Yes, it's nice and a complete black screen for my OLED TV, but you can't see where the edge of the screen is. But if you bump into it, it's game over. So there we go. Yes, and now it goes. And as you can see, the snake is faster. It's more difficult to play when I'm in this position, but I think it's more important that you can see how it works. It's still not fast, but you gotta remember, this is basic. Basic was never meant for fast gameplay. As a matter of fact, I am very happy with the end result, because I never expected it to be possible to make Snake in basic. When I started to do this, I only get a scrolling screen instead of a screen where you get food that stands still. And so I only could move my Snake left and right, and then it looked like a eating game that scrolls down. So like a racing game where you have to collide with the stars that are on the road. So my version in the past wasn't actually like this. So thanks to ChatGPT and a certain clear direction what he needs to do, results in an actual playable game. And after this point I will crash myself, so I can do the second. Wow, okay. I ate 12 food. Press one key. And as you can see, my name is in the Hall of Fame. Let's make a new player. I will set my phone on quiet because it keeps on pinging, unless it's very important. No, it's not. Okay. Let's try this again, and then you will see, if I get a higher score, Ronald moves down and will be silver, and if I get a lower score, simply then the game. I will try to beat the 12 because I want to see actually what happens. But if my memory serves me well, it actually worked. So I need to be able to beat 12 food. It's still the case that the longer the Snake gets, the slower the game will run. But it's not as bad as before he cleaned up the code and started using ghost swoops. It didn't work. Well, at least now I can do a third run and improve on the 2. Go. And I will kill it because I know for sure that I've got more food. 4. Press a key. Yes, and as you can see, Peter has dropped down a place and Yvette took his place. So the Hall of Fame works, restarting the game works, the instructions before the game starts works, and I'm so happy that by just giving ChatGPT instructions on what I want, and if you can explain him very clearly what went wrong or what you want to try to improve, then you can actually get a working game. So what I want to try now, and that's not for this video but maybe for the next, if it actually works, I want to make this game in machine code and preferably with a sprite. So I can actually draw a real head and the body segments in a little bit of a different, because I don't want to have only heads. Now I used the same design for his head and the rest of the body. But in real life I only want the head to be different and the rest can be a repeated character or shape that I design. And when that works, I will make a new video, because to be honest, making games with the help of ChatGPT is fun, and I never learned to program in real machine code. So maybe I can do this even by myself when I start to find the logic in machine code. We will see what happens. And if not, he can always do it with my instructions. I hope you enjoyed the video. For me it was truly fun to actually do and have an end result that gives me a proper playing game without much trouble. And as you can see, I didn't even save it. There was no save game. It's just copy paste from my previous chat history in ChatGPT, paste it, and you've got the game working again. It's not like the old days where if you didn't have a data set or floppy drive, that when you turned your Commodore 64 off, all that hard work in typing in the code is gone. And now you have the code, you can put it in a readme file or in a text document and put the name of the game on top of it, and you can just copy paste it in your emulator and you can just play it. Well, this is brilliant, and I can keep rambling on about it, but I won't, because that will make the video pretty boring. But as you can see now, yes, you can use AI to make a proper basic game. Even without knowledge of graphics, you can just use characters, and if you memorize where all the passkey signs are, you can let him make this too. And when I got my new Commodore 64 Ultimate, the Starlight edition, when I got that, I can just save this code on VICE, put it on a USB stick and load it in on my real Commodore 64. And then I have the keys with the passkey signs on it, and I can make more interesting backgrounds and character sets design and see what's what. But for now, we will stick to this. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a nice new year. Enjoy gaming. Retro rules, but fun. The modern games are equally as fun. See you in the next video. Goodbye.